Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be here with you today. We are going to talk about my reading plans for August. Going into August, I think that my TBR is really going to be dictated by a couple of things. First is the armchair travel that I am doing this month. It's the last month for our book club this summer doing armchair travel, and this month we're doing island hopping. So I think we're going to Japan, Iceland, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. So I will have books for those prompts. The second thing that I'm going to be choosing from for my TBR is going to be my library holds. So before I sat down to film this video, I kind of just went through what books I had checked out from the library, what was coming available soon, and added those to my list. So let's go through library first, and then I'll touch base on the island hopping at the end. The first book I have on my TBR is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is her newest release. I think it came out in June. This book has been everywhere, I feel like. I have only read a couple of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and they were her earlier books that were a little bit more romance. But this sounds good. I can't believe it's historical fiction because it's set in the 1980s, but it is considered historical fiction. It is about women in the 1980s breaking into NASA. Let's see, it says an epic new novel set against the backdrop of the 1980s space shuttle program about the extraordinary lengths we go to live and love beyond our limits. Also, look at the inside of the cover. It's so pretty. Yeah, so I am very curious. I hear that this book is very emotional. Like, I've heard a lot of people cry, but I'm not a huge book crier, so we'll see what happens. But I was so excited that my library had it. I did not put a hold in on this, which I'm like shocked about, but I went to the library last week and it was sitting in the new releases, and so I had to grab it. So that is a high priority this month. Hopefully I get to it. For Prime Day, I signed up for 3 months of Audible. So I do have a credit that I could use towards the audiobook, because what I've been doing lately is reading a physical book and then hopping over to audio like while I'm doing other things around the house, and that's worked really well for me to like get through books more quickly. So I have a credit that I can use that would make it free, and then I could also use my Spotify audiobook hours on this one, because the audiobook through Libby has like a really long wait. So trying to figure out how I can listen to it and read it at the same time. So I'll probably go one of those two routes, but I'm not even sure who narrates the book. But I've heard that her books have really good narration, so I'm curious to see how it goes. The next book is The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie. This book is by Rachel Linden. I think I got this one, it was like on an ebook sale recently, so I picked up the Kindle version, and I have the audio hold on Libby. This is a Hallmark movie. I think it came out last year, and a lot of people said that it was one of the best Hallmark movies last year. And so I really wanted to, one, watch the movie, but two, I want to read the book first. And I'm pretty sure it's women's fiction, and it is about this female main character who inherits like these magic lemon drops, like I guess like, I don't know if they're essential oils, but like you cook with them, where you get to, I think, 3 scenarios where you can go back in time and like learn from an experience, or maybe redo an experience. So the kind of magical realism aspect, like reflecting on life type of storyline, definitely piques my interest. So I also think the cover is so cute, and I wanted to read it this summer, and summer is coming to a close. So you'll kind of notice that throughout this video. A lot of the books that I have are maybe more summer themed than they have been before, just because I kind of get to that point every year where I'm like, oh no, my seasonal reading, I need to finish all of the summer books while it's still summer. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. And then I think it would be fun to read the book and then watch the movie and kind of compare. I always find that a lot of fun, no matter what book it is, comparing it to the movie. So, you know, the book is usually always better. So, but it'll be fun to add another one to my list. Next up, we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I have talked about her books on my channel before. She is an author that's been on my radar for several years, and I've never read her books. So these have a bit of magical realism to them. This particular book, let's see, is about a songwriter who I believe can start hearing this melody in her head, and it ends up being someone else's imagination. So like somehow she can talk with like the love interest through her mind. I'm pretty sure is, yes, that is what the premise is. She's a songwriter, right? Like the female main character is a songwriter. I'm not doing a great job explaining the story. We'll try again. The female main character of this book is a songwriter. She starts hearing this tune in her head, but it comes from the male main character's imagination. And there's some sort of like telepathic connection. Then the male main character like shows up in her real life and she realizes it's the same guy. And then they kind of work through that connection, try to finish the song. But in real life, you know, he comes across as like a little bit arrogant and guarded. So kind of like working through that. But yeah, this is her latest release. I think she's up to 4 books now. But I am a really big music lover, so it's kind of why I am thinking I'll pick this one up first as like my first Ashley Poston, because it has that musical element to it. Next up, we have Summer on Honeysuckle Ridge. This is the first book in the Highland Falls series by Debbie Mason. So you guys know that I've recently been reading a lot of Sarah Morgan, and so I did some looking and researching to see like what authors are similar to Sarah Morgan, and this is an author that came up in my search. So oh, I have this book. Hold on. I forgot I had this physical book. I thought I was going to be putting up a picture of it, but this is the book. This author, again, came up in my search when I was trying to find authors that were similar to Sarah Morgan, and my library had several of her books. This is the first book in the series, so that's kind of why I picked it up. This book is a small town romance. Let's see. Abby is the main character. She has gone from being a top LA media influencer to an unemployed divorcee living out of her car. So she then inherits her great aunt's homestead, which is in Highland Falls, North Carolina, which I'm pretty sure is a fictional town. So she goes there. It looks like the homestead, yeah, it's on a farm, Honeysuckle Farm. How cute. And she discovers it's a fixer-upper, and then there is a man living on the property. So the male main character, like the love interest, is living on the property. The male main character is ex-Delta Force soldier Hunter McKenzie. He has faced war and loss, but nothing has quite prepared him for an outgoing redhead who's determined to turn his life upside down. He doesn't want to get involved with anyone, especially a city girl who plans to sell the only place he's ever felt at home. But they have an undeniable connection, and spending time with Abby is easy. So it's kind of like it's very Hallmark movie-esque, kind of the formula of like city girl comes to a small town, doesn't plan to stay long, and then falls in love, and I'm sure she'll probably end up staying. But this is an author I'm excited to read. So again, it's kind of like women's fiction, but has a strong romance plot. Which will be a little bit different than some of the Sarah Morgan books that I've read, just because they've been a little bit stronger on the women's fiction and less on the romance, although there's still been a romance plot. But I'm really just trying to lean into the things that are working for me. And so but I'm also not the type of person that's just gonna binge an entire backlist of one author, like back to back to back, because I feel like I kind of burn out and then I don't enjoy the writing as much. So I try to find like authors that are similar, and then that kind of brings the variety into my reading life. So there is also a booktuber, Fiona, over at Reads and Eats, I believe is her channel name, and she has read many Debbie Mason books, and she says she really likes them. So that was like another thing where, okay, I've like also heard somebody that I follow talk about this author and seems to like these books, so kind of gave me the nudge that I needed to pick it up. Now we have the Sweetheart Deal. This is by Miranda Liaison. This book I know I don't have. This one is on, or do I have it? I think I do have it, but it's downstairs. Anyway, I'm gonna put up a picture here. This one has the audio on Hoopla, and I'm pretty sure I checked it out from my library, but my library stack is downstairs. I thought I brought up all the books, but apparently I didn't. But this is another small town, kind of the same as Debbie Mason, where it's an author I wanted to try because I liked Sarah Morgan. And this one is a marriage of convenience, and like two rival families in a small town. For some reason they have to get married to like work something out between the families. I don't know. I have just really been enjoying small town romance and small town cozy mysteries this year. Something about it has just really worked for me. So again, that's on my radar to try and find a new author with tropes that I have been liking. Speaking of cozy mysteries, I have a few cozy mysteries on my radar for this month. The first one is The Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club. This book is by Gloria Chow. This one, I don't know if it's quite a cozy mystery. It could be a little more like Knives Out kind of mystery, like funny mystery, maybe a little bit less cozy, but still like a lighthearted, funny murder mystery is how I would describe this one. So this is about an ex-boyfriend of these three girls who ends up dead. And I think that to clear their name, these girls team up to find the real killer. And they go undercover and all of this. And there's apparently like a good looking detective on the case. Then there's like this added, you know, potential romance plot. So it seems like a lot of fun. And I had this held at my library and it finally became available. So I picked it up, and I've been, like I said, had a good cozy mystery month last month, but it was all one series. So I'm still in the mood for cozy mystery, but like wanting to expand outside of that one series, which I did finish. So, you know, now that that chapter is closed, I can pick up another cozy mystery. So this one just seems kind of like funny, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. The next cozy mystery on my radar is On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle. This book I got used online, I think. Anyway, this is a long running series. I think this book first came out in 2001, but it's based on a coffee shop in New York City. And I haven't read a New York City book in a while, and I'm kind of getting that itch. So I almost read this book last month, but just it didn't fit in with what I was reading, and I just had other books that were taking priority. So this is on my radar for August. If you've read this book, let me know. I feel like this is a pretty beloved series, and it's not long. I mean, cozy mysteries aren't super long to begin with, but this one is 270 pages. So I feel like it could be a really quick read for me as well. So I think that would be fun. And then the last cozy mystery on my radar for August is Live and Let Chai by Bree Baker. This is the first book in a seashore series. I think there's an iced tea shop set on the seashore. So again, very summery, and I'm going to be going to the beach in September. So I'm really trying to, one, kind of finish out all the summer books that I want to read while it's still summer, like I said, but also kind of get in the frame of mind for going to the beach. And I just think this sounds like really cute. And you guys know I love tea. So I've been wanting to get into like iced tea. I usually just drink hot tea. But you know, with it being summer, I kind of like the idea of like having nice, crisp, cold iced tea and like being outside. So this one has just come very highly recommended, and I just think it sounds kind of like the perfect little summer cozy, and I really hope I get to it. That's kind of the one that I'm prioritizing the most. Like if I get to a cozy mystery in August, that's the one that I really, really, really want to read. Last two library books I have. First up is Finders Keepers by Sarah Adler. This is friends to lovers. They go on a treasure hunt. I have loved the idea of that story premise, but I've yet to have it done like in a really good way that holds my attention. So I read, a book last year, and I'm totally blanking on the name. I'll put it here. That I had to DNF because I just didn't buy into the chemistry between the two main characters, and it was a little too like spicy without the buy-in, and I just didn't really connect with them. But they were kind of like on an archaeology dig. So I did read Something Wilder by Christina Lauren a couple of years ago, which is similar in the like treasure hunting kind of realm, and that one was really good. I did like that one a lot. So I just feel like summer is such a fun time for those types of romances, and Sarah Adler is a author that's been on my radar for a while, but I've never read her books. I actually think she's like semi-local to where I am. I think we might live in the same state. So that's also cool because I've seen her at a lot of like local signings, and so if I like her, I feel like that would be fun because there'd probably be a signing nearby in the future that I could go to. So yeah, this sounds really cute to me. I love friends to lovers so much. It's one of my favorite tropes. And this is kind of like ex-friends to lovers, like they were childhood friends that have kind of not talked to each other. So they've had space and then they kind of come back together, which I think it's a lot of fun too. So yeah, that one's on my radar and I'm excited. And the last of my library books is not the last of my library books because I have many more, but the last of the ones that are going to be included for my August pile of possibilities, kind of my TBR that I'll be working from, is Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady. This is kind of like You've Got Mail, if I understand the premise correctly. It is two rival bookstore owners, except for the male main character owns the romance bookstore and the female main character owns like the highbrow like literary bookstore, which I find like such a fun little twist. And I don't know if it's set in Boston. It says they are managing bookstores on the same Boston street. I thought the name of the street was Boston. So New England is also very summery to me in my mind. This one came out in June and I had it on my radar, was like, oh, maybe it's not gonna work, but then I've heard several people whose opinion I like when it comes to books talk about how they loved this book, so that made me really hopeful. So yeah, so if you have watched You've Got Mail, you kind of know the premise of this book. So they're like rival bookstore owners, but then they somehow meet. I think it's an online forum for bookstore owners, but they don't know each other. Yeah. They're anonymous friend. They are friends online, but they're anonymous. Then they meet through a book forum for like independent bookstore owners. So anyway, I just feel like this is going to be good, guys. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be good and I'm going to like it. So fingers crossed. I've never read an Ali Brady book. I actually don't know. Okay, yeah, she has written another book. Yeah, she's read, a couple of books that are on my radar. But they've all been like summer related: The Beach Trap, The Comeback Summer, and Until Next Summer. So this is her first like non-seasonal book, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. Sounds so cute. And lastly, I'm going to go through my armchair travel TBR. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the book club is doing island hopping. And here's my cat. He has been like in the background this whole video. I don't know if you've been able to hear him, but he's just kind of, he's got like some zoomies right now. This is Mickey. He is my best friend. Hi, buddy. He's too busy looking at my books. It's fine. So I'll just continue. I'm sure you guys don't mind. He's cute. Are you going to show everybody your face? No, you're going to look out the window? Yeah, okay, that seems about right. Okay, first up is Japan. So I spent this morning looking at books set in Japan and Iceland because those were the two locations that I really struggled to find romance books. I could also do a cozy mystery, but I think I'm leaning romance. Anyway, I couldn't really find like a traditional romance for Japan, but I did find a historical fiction that had romance in it. And if you'll remember, when we did the Mediterranean for this book club, I talked about Meet Me in Monaco, which was set in like the south of France in the French Riviera, and it was one of my favorite books of the year, and it was a historical fiction that had romance. So I chose The Japanese Lover by Isabel Allende. This is on Kindle Unlimited, and it sounds really good. It's a dual timeline historical fiction. The past is set during World War II, but it's in Japan and with Japanese characters, which I think is a unique twist because a lot of times World War II historical fiction is set in Europe. So I thought that would be really fun. And then the modern day, so like the other timeline, is in San Francisco, present time. So the synopsis sounded really good. I had seen the cover a little bit when I first started searching and it didn't quite catch my eye. But then once I found that I couldn't really find any good like true romance books set in Japan, I was like, okay, let me check it out. And it actually sounds really good, like I would like it. So I think that's the one that I'm going to read for Japan. Next up is Iceland. Now this was tricky, but there is a cute looking cozy romance that's on Kindle Unlimited. It's called Snug in Iceland, and this one's by Victoria Walker. It is, I think she's a British author if I'm not mistaken, because her female main character is from London. She ends up for her job opening like a location in Iceland, and then she has like this I guess someone from the company like hires like a guide to like take her around and like maybe scope out where the office is going to be, and like that's her love interest. But it also really just focuses on her like realizing that her life isn't exactly what she wanted in London, and how being in Iceland and being, I think it takes place in the capital city of Reykjavik, how that helps her kind of discover what she wants in life. And so it sounds cute. It's not a very long book. It's like 200 pages. So like a little longer than a novella, but it seems cute. It's like the only romance I can find in Iceland. So I'm going to give it a try and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, the last two locations, oh my gosh, there's like a plethora of books. We've got Ireland and the United Kingdom. So Ireland, I have two on my radar and we'll see which one I end up with. But the first is a romance. It's called The Irish Goodbye by Amy Ewing. And the second book is The Bookshop Ladies by Faith Hogan. That book is on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure. I don't think The Irish Goodbye is on Kindle Unlimited, but my library has it. So I might, it just depends how the rest of my reading shakes out. Like if I'm reading a lot more women's fiction outside of my book club, I'll probably read more romance in the book club. If I'm reading more romance outside of the book club, I'll probably read more women's fiction in the book club. So it really just depends, again, like what's going on. But The Bookshop Ladies sound really good. I just think that it seems like a book that would hold my attention. This book is about a female main character whose father recently passes away. Her father was a French art dealer. Oh, it's not her father, it's her husband, sorry. Her husband passes away, and her husband was a French art dealer and leaves her a valuable painting in this small town of Ireland called Ballycove. And so she goes and she runs into another character who runs a bookshop, and I believe starts working there. And so she kind of creates this new life, or I don't know if she like is going to be moving there, but at least she's going to be visiting. And so she creates, you know, this found family, these connections in this small town, but she's still kind of looking into why her husband left her this painting, what it means. And then there's like secrets that are unearthed, because the painting ties into people and their lives in the small town. And I don't know, these types of stories have just really been working for me. And I'm just curious what might happen. This is an author that I am not familiar with, so we'll see if I like it or not. But yeah, I think she has, if I like her, she has a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited and a few books that I've like seen before and looked at before. So that'll be a good thing, you know, if I find a new author that I like. So I just realized my cat was messing with my string lights, so sorry if that's been off kilter this whole video. Hopefully you didn't notice. So that wraps up what's on my radar for August, what I have in the pipeline, kind of what's on the board for what I might read. And I'm excited. I don't know. I just am very excited for a new month. I had a good reading month in July, so I'm excited to recap that with you guys as well. But yeah, something about a new month, new possibilities. You know, I'll probably pick up books that are not on this list too. That's just how I roll. I'm a mood reader. But these are definitely books that I kind of have like front of mind and will try to prioritize. But again, I don't stick to my TBR 100%. I just kind of use it as a guide. So I'll be curious what you all plan to read in August, if there's any read-alongs that you'll be doing, any book clubs you'll be participating in. So let me know maybe like the top book or top 2 books that you would like to read in August. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do the United Kingdom. Whoops. Okay, sorry. Time out, we gotta go back. Okay, my last week for the book club is the United Kingdom. It doesn't end in Ireland. Sorry, I don't know why I just started wrapping up my video, but I have 3 books for the United Kingdom. Help me, because I have a lot. First is Work in Progress by Kat Mackenzie. This is, okay, this sounds so cute. It is about this girl who goes on a literary tour through the United Kingdom. It is the one that I'm kind of leaning towards because it's going to go through the entire UK, where I think the other ones are just, one is in Scotland and one is in England. So I think that would be really fun. Yeah, who knows? The second book is Some Like It Scott. This book is by Pepper Basham. You guys, this is about a travel writer and podcaster who roams the world, and she's built a career as Miss Adventure. And she is taking a 3-week Edwarian experience to trace her ancestral roots. And I think she comes across the male main character, trying to see if he's the tour guide or not, or if maybe she's like staying on his property. I don't know, but it's cute. Look at the cover. It's cute. That's all I know. And then I have My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan. This book is set in, obviously, at Oxford, so in London. The movie or the miniseries, I can't recall what it is, it comes out August 1st. And I have had this book on my TBR for years. So I was like, perfect timing. I can use it for my prompt for the United Kingdom, and I can watch it, or I can read it before I watch it. So that's my plan. But you guys obviously have heard my list of books, so we will really see what happens. So now that I'm really done, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. And like I said, let me know what you are most excited to read for August. And if you just want to let me know you were here and watched the whole video, leave a book stack emoji in the comments. And if you haven't already, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That would help, I think, in the YouTube algorithm. But I really just come on here to chit chat and make connections. So I don't really care about a huge following, but it does help. So thank you if you do that. And until next time, I hope you are reading a really good book, and I'll talk with you later. Bye.